I'll reach out to my past clients and just ask them how they're doing. And it's something that, obviously I become great friends with a lot of my clients. And, as I talk to them a couple years down the road, sometimes they say, Adam, I love the house. I love the neighborhood. I love all this stuff about where we live now. But the one thing is it's just, we don't get up to the mountains as often as we thought we would. And it's because of the location of the home within Denver. It's not the road going up to the mountains that's maybe an inconvenience. It's just the time that it takes to get through Metro Denver, especially at certain points during the day. And I'll use this as an example. Let's say that you're, a Monday to Friday type worker, and you still want to get up and do things on the weeknights after work, especially in the summer months where it's light out until almost 9 o'clock at night. Well, if you live in areas like, let's just say, Southeast Aurora, or maybe even in the Denver specific area, like downtown Denver and the surrounding neighborhoods, well, just to get out to the western side of town, it could take 30 minutes or longer just to fight traffic and just to get over to the western side of town to places like Morrison, even going to Red Rocks, Amphitheater, Golden. There's so many great places on the western side of town that still can easily be jump-off points for hiking and mountain biking, all these fun activities. But on a weeknight, dealing with all that traffic, it's something that people might do once or twice, and then they get so sick of just dealing with the headache that they end up not going up to the mountains or just to these western side of town, the foothills, nearly as much as they expected to. And there's a great way just to avoid this, and that's by identifying these neighborhoods that are a little bit more on the western side of town. And speaking just kind of personally here, I grew up in the western side of town my entire life. I've always been on this side of Denver. I went to Wheat Ridge High School, grew up in Wheat Ridge, which is west of downtown Denver. And I also actually live now in southwest Littleton, this great area called Grant Ranch. And one of the reasons I've always wanted to continue to live on this western side of town is because of dealing with all that traffic to get to the mountains on the, weekday afternoon, or even on the weekends, like Saturday morning to go skiing. When you're on that side of town, on the western side, it's just so much easier to get up there, and it becomes a lot more achievable on a regular basis. And let's be honest here, that's why so many of us live in Colorado, is to enjoy the outdoors and all the fun, great stuff that goes along with it. And you want to make sure that you live in a place where that's very easily done. It's achievable. And man, a lot of people just end up, that's one of the biggest regrets I hear, is that they love where they live, as far as they love their home, they love maybe the school district that they're in, they love all their neighbors, but they just aren't getting up to the mountains as often as they'd like to. So a few areas I would really recommend if you guys are somebody that maybe I'm speaking your language here and you really want to have that access that's readily available 7 days a week, I would check out areas like Golden, Wheat Ridge, Arvada, as well as maybe looking a little bit to the south in places like, for example, where I'm at in southwestern Littleton. And also one of my favorite neighborhoods, it's really cool, it's called Ken Carroll. And there's specifically an area in there called North Ranch. And that's this other little kind of hidden gem, a little secret spot that I'm guessing maybe you guys don't even know about yet, but it is one of my all-time favorites and an area that I would love to live in someday. So just wanted to share that little bonus tip for any of you guys that are still watching that stuck around till the end of this video. So Ken Carroll and North Ranch at Ken Carroll, those are some awesome spots to check out that are basically in the mountains. You're not way up high in elevation, but you've got mountains surrounding you because you're on this western side of town. And it's not just about the access, it's also about other stuff. It's a little bit more just scenic, it's a little bit prettier, it's also a little bit better for wildlife. That North Ranch area, when I had a home that I was selling a couple years ago over there, we had bear, mountain lion, deer, elk. I mean, that's just in the Denver neighborhood of that Ken Carroll area. We're not even talking about driving up to the mountains to see these animals. That was right there. So, there's so much of that available for people that do live on the western side of town. So that might be really important for you guys to know about and just to be aware of if you are considering Denver and just not sure where in Denver might best fit your needs. Before we close this one out, guys, I thought of one other thing I just want to share with you guys. If you go to adamstillsdenver.com, it's just my website, I have this interactive map, and there's over 20 of the different neighborhoods all around Denver that you can click on, and it'll just give you all this additional info, demographics, as well as the type of homes that are maybe located in that area, the proximity to the mountains, the proximity to the airport, to downtown Denver, all that stuff. And if you're not that familiar yet with Denver, this is just a great starting point where you can start to understand, just where some of these spots are that maybe I've mentioned tonight or today that you haven't heard of yet. So check that out, And then last but not least, also every single month I do live free, they're Denver Homebuyer webinars. So they're online. I'd love to see you guys on the next one. So I'll also put that info down below, or you can just go to denverwebinar.com, where I share a lot of stuff just like this, as well as more specific strategies on how to win in the Denver real estate market today in 2026. So excited to share all that with you guys. Hopefully you guys end up checking it out. And if you do, and you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd love to chat one-on-one.